Afternoon, everyone. J&N Ballistics here. As promised, we're going to do a review on the Ruger 1022 Tri-Mag adapter. I've had a couple people ask me if this was a special magazine, where I got it, how it works, so I figure we'll sit down, we'll take a little time to go over this, and I can explain to everybody how this bad boy works. I know personally, I love the 1022 stock magazines for the simple fact that these things fit in the gun beautifully. You know, they sit there nice and flush, they have a pretty tight fit to them, they don't jam. I've never cleaned the ones that I have, and I've never had an issue with them. They release fairly easy. I believe that if you pull the lever, this will actually drop out on its own. Pretty much the best magazine that you can get for the 1022 if you have one. Butler Creek sells some high-capacity magazines. I've heard a lot of issues with those jamming up. Ramline also sells some of those high-capacity mags. Again, they've had a lot of issues with jamming. So these seem to be the best way to go, unless you're in a high-capacity state and you can get a BX25, which is a high-capacity magazine that recently came out, made by Ruger. Obviously, holds 25 rounds. Those seem to have really good reviews. They seem to work fantastic. So if you're in one of those states that allows for the high-capacity magazines, that would be the way to go. If you're in California or New York State, or any other state that has a 10-round limit on it, this Tri-Mag adapter is probably the best way to go. What it's going to do is it's going to let you take your 1022 mags and kind of link them together here. You're going to set it in and use those contours and those impressions on your magazine to get it to sit in there nice. You might have a few tries at this, because when I first did it, it took me a few seconds to figure out how to get it all to go together and how to hold it. You basically set those in, tighten that little wing nut down, and it links 3 of those together. And take your flathead, put about a half or quarter turn to kind of lock it down a little bit so you don't have any issues, and they fit together nice and tight. And what you've done is you've taken 3 10-round 1022 stock magazines and you've linked these together. Obviously they're still independent magazines, so if you're in New York State or California, this is still going to be legal because the magazines aren't together. You still would have to switch them around and recock the gun to reload the next set. But what it does do is it lets you take 30 rounds on the gun. You wouldn't have to reach into your pocket or into your holster to try and pull out another magazine and fumble with separate parts. Let you see how this fits in the gun. Just like a regular magazine, it's going to click right up in there. It's going to hold nice and tight. No issues there. It's going to come out nice and easy, just like the standard magazine would, because it is a standard magazine. Kind of gives you a little bit of a bipod there. Your gun will sit nice and flat. I personally think it looks kind of cool. Kind of gives it that little Tommy gun look to it. It's got the little cylinder below it. But again, these are separate magazines. So when you're ready to change, you just grab it, flip it, cock it, and you got 10 more. And again, grab it, flip it, cock it, and you've got 10 more. The nice thing is that even with the extra weight on it, I don't seem to get any feeding issues off this. You'd think maybe it would pull the magazine down a little bit, and you might have some feeding issues with the rounds. That doesn't seem to be the case. As you can see, like any other stock 1022 magazine, it feeds without a problem. So for those of you in New York or California, again, that have those 10-round bands, and you can only have a 10-round magazine, and you're looking to be able to carry some extra rounds on the gun and not have to fumble back and forth with different magazines, I would highly suggest that you invest in one of these Alengator 1022 Tri-Mags. I got this on eBay. I think it was $9.99, $10, with like $4 shipping. So it's going to cost you about 15 bucks, which is the same as one of the magazines would cost. It's really not that much money. And then again, if you decide, hey, I want to use my stock 1022 magazine, maybe you want to mod your gun up to set up like a sniper or what have you. You don't want that piece protruding from the bottom. And obviously, as you can see, in a matter of seconds, this will disassemble, and you're back to your stock 1022 magazine, ready to rock and roll. You can set it up with a bipod or a Tapco stock, however you want to use it. And again, you could easily reconvert it to another high-capacity mag that you could use on the gun. So that's the Alengator Tri-Mag. I love it, and I highly suggest that if you're looking for something that'll give you more ammo on the gun, invest in one of these guys. $10 bucks, you can't go wrong.